Hi, so this is another quick video on integrating Ansible, and this time with Jira. So the key points for this one, in the first place, it's important to say that a KPI for cloud native success really has to do with the number of integrations that we have in our environment. So as we've talked about in a previous video, the landscape for cloud is huge, and you're very likely to be in a situation like almost everybody else where the products that you've chosen are actually unique. As a result, the mix is probably found nowhere else in the world exactly. So we need to acknowledge that, and we need to look for tools like Ansible that can really bring those together. So we'll be kind of building on a previous idea that we have talked about around change management and automating more of those processes. So really the key principle here is that we want our tools to enforce the processes that we have, as opposed to having our processes constraining our tool set. And sometimes when we talk about letting the platform do the hard stuff can include people just remembering what it is that they're supposed to do, especially from a governance perspective. And so we want to try to help through things like automating change management where we can. We want to help people not have to necessarily remember so many things and be able to focus on the task itself. So automating something like change management would occur really in three primary steps. So there's the Jira module itself. And so we're going to have a very bare bones example here, but one that'll certainly allow you to visualize and follow along. We'll do the Ansible Vault prep next. And so just a quick call in on that, and we'll look at the actual live environment here in a second. But a change that Atlassian's made to their hosted Jira, at least over the last several months, is to require API tokens to be used instead of passwords for things like REST API calls that Ansible would make. And so for the DevOps person who's doing this, or the developer who's doing this, if she is looking to generate the API token and put that in instead of her password, that's really the right way to approach it. And then the third step, after we've worked on the Jira module and done the Ansible Vault prep, is to actually run the Ansible commands themselves. And so we'll go into all of this here in just a second. So starting with the Jira module, we have a simple playbook here that does three things. So it creates an issue, it comments on the issue, and it marks the issue as done. So we've done the Vault prep, as I mentioned, and just to show you where in the Atlassian account you would go ahead and configure this at a per user basis, you just go ahead and generate the API token. So we've already done that here. We've already placed that in our credentials file. So the credits file in our case it's just located here next to the demo playbook that we're working with. And so what we can do now is go over to the command line. And here, Ansible Vault is a command similar to Ansible Playbook that just comes with Ansible when you install it on a control node by default. Has a subcommand around encrypt. And so that credentials file that I called out here just a second ago, we'll go ahead and generate a new encrypted version of that file that we can then call through Ansible Playbook, so that we're keeping things nice and secure. I wanted to go ahead and demo Ansible Vault as a part of this because certainly security needs to be everybody's first concern. And so we want to show how, in the case of working with Ansible Playbook, even when we're version controlling and so forth, we can have encryption, and we can protect what we need to around working with our password files. So in the case of the Ansible Vault password file, we've already pre-populated this password here into this text file, but very straightforward to do. And with any luck, when we run this command, it will go ahead and create a new issue for us. And so we can look over here. So this is kind of a before picture, and what we should be seeing now with this completed is it does look like it was okay. And so if we hit refresh now, we should be seeing a new issue, and we sure do. And this issue has already been transitioned, so it did report who was creating it, and it has even a description that we included in the comment as I called out. The code itself here is on our website in case you'd like to take a closer look at it there. But coming back to what we're really talking about here, fundamentally, this is really the type of straightforward integration that you get in working with Ansible because of the support that we have for modules. And you're really not talking about a long time to start getting ROI on these decisions. So you've already made the investment. In the Atlassian suite, in this case, you're making an investment in learning more about Ansible, and you start to see immediate returns, and you start to be in a position where you're making things fundamentally better, you're going faster, you're getting more done in a more consistent way.